Greetings and salutations. I hope everyone's doing okay. I know these are some trying times, but hang in there. We're gonna get through this together. I think we're on the precipice of doing something for the betterment of the world in the grand scheme, but we gotta we gotta work. We gotta work for it. But something a little more off brand today again. I kinda like doing these little videos where I get to kind of just talk about something I'm very passionate about, whether it's a comic book or a game like this. I'm gonna talk about Horizon Zero Dawn today just because it's therapeutic for me to be able to share some content about things that aren't Tower God or One Piece related. It's good for me. I just like to kind of branch out because I have a many interests, right? Not just manga, not just webtoons. I like a lot of things. So let's talk about Horizon Zero Dawn.
I got no time to parlay, unless it's big checks or parlays. I've been bricked, it's not far away. Light the spliff and I stargaze. Consultation with the constellations. They said the world was in a dark phase. It got me desperado for protection. Carry big strap in a guitar case.
Now, I want to preface by saying I had originally played this game in 2017, but it was one of those things where I was extremely swamped with so many things. I never got, in my opinion, to give this game its true fair chance. And I had played it after Breath of the Wild, and I was chastising the game for not allowing me the same level of liberty and freedom and creativity, which I take back the creativity part in the grand scheme, because like, you can get really creative with how you take down striders and grazers and whatnot in this game. But it was just like the open air concept. It made open world games that weren't Breath of the Wild hard for me to play. Now, I saw this game for $13 with the Frozen Wilds DLC, and I said, let's go around two and really dive into this with the time that I have and look into the DLC and actually do all the side questing. And I gotta say, it was beautiful. I love this game. This game is fantastic from top to bottom. As far as I'm concerned, it's one of the better IPs that Sony has come out with in the last couple of years, and I just kind of want to talk about it. Like, it's not really a review. I don't know if there's a recommendation. I just kind of want to talk about what I did like, what I didn't like, and then we'll just wrap it up, kind of like the Spider-Man video that I did recently. So let's kind of hop right in. I'm gonna start with the combat. I think the combat is crazy good. It's dope, and now with the additional weapons and rods, like the little ice spear and the fire forger, I think it was called something like that. Like a use the fire bellows, I think something for a side quest, and you get like a thing that can spit fire, and it can like shoot explosive fireballs too, and then one that shoots electricity. But if you overheat it or overload it, it actually will shock you back. But I had the ancient armor, the spell. What's it called? Spellweaver. I can't remember what it's called, but so that just regenerates so I was fine, it didn't matter. But I think the combat is truly awesome. Do I wish I can kind of just kill a bunch of things with my spear sometimes, especially towards the end of the game, because with the way the level up system works, it's not necessarily like, okay, you get leveled up here, your attack goes up. It's not really like that. When you level up in this game, sometimes you get a skill point for a skill tree, and in the original vanilla version of the game, if I'm recalling this correctly, feel free to correct me in the comment section below. You had 30 levels, so everything you chose, I think, really mattered, because you didn't actually get the 60 levels you get in this game, to why I just got everything and maxed out. I had Silent Spear and Spellweaver armor and all kinds of stuff, right? So, anywho, being the combination of arrows, your spear, your heavy hit, being able to attack from all types of vantage points, setting up trip wires, blast wires, fire wires, electric wires, the way you have to shoot off certain components to make it explode to cause mass, like the way you could really approach a battle was just totally dependent on how you felt and how your playstyle was, which I truly appreciate. I am not the person who really cares about stealth. Like, I'm Aloy. I'm fucking awesome. Like, I will jump in and fuck up a a Thunderjaw. Just pull up, like, what's good? What up? I'm here. Like, I don't feel the need to be like, I'm gonna set this up, yada yada yada. But there's times where I'll see something I gotta kill or something I want to kill, but it's not the machine itself that I'm worried about. It's everyone else that I'm worried about. So I go, okay, I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna set my traps, put a blast wire, yada yada yada, Then I go up somewhere. I started off. I get it popping, and then it's just a good time. It's so fun. Like I think hunting machines and new machines and whatnot never gets old. I think the crafting in this game is good and easy. It's not too you have to. I didn't find myself having to pause too often, especially with the kind of like quick craft menu you can pull up. It kind of slows down time quickly. You know, you'll recreate some hard arrows or something. So I found that I didn't have to pause the game too much, which I appreciate. So I think the combat is really, it just depends on how deep you want to dive into it. I couldn't admit that for a while. I just kind of just fought with my spear if there were smaller machines. Then I kind of just dodge roll when I needed to. But then as I started having to fight bigger, more monsters who are in like the Thunderjaws and Stormbirds and whatnot, and it's like okay, especially with the Glinthawks and Stormbird, just because they have a level of aerial maneuverability that no other enemy has. It can be a little jarring at first to fight them, but then you get used to it. And you just gotta shoot fire at them, and when well the Glinthawks at least. But Stormbird first time I had to pick it off and tear off its components and parts of its armor strategically and then tie it to the ground with the rope caster, and I just had a great time. Like, it's super awesome. I do think fighting humans in this game is extremely lackluster. It's very boring. They're by far the most boring things you had to fight in this game. Going through the bandit camps and whatnot, didn't really care too much. I always wanted to fight a dope machine like a Deathbringer or something. So I gotta give the combat everything. But speaking of the other parts of the gameplay, like the inventory and crafting, all that, it's all top notch. Nothing you haven't really seen before, I would say, but it's all solid stuff. It's good. It's well done. I liked all where the shops are, the fast travel system, the map stuff was cool. I do think the map does the whole just put a bunch of shit on there, and I think it was a little bit. I think it could have put a little less in there. I thought there was a lot going on, but yeah, I want to say this. The one things I didn't really do both times I played this game was the hunting trial stuff. So if somebody, I did watch and see what happens, so I know what happens. But if someone really enjoyed those parts of the game, could you like kind of like tell me why? Because like I'm not I'm a kind of person who doesn't really care about those type of skill challenges, especially if my reward isn't going to be worth it. So it was like there's 4 levels, you know. Whatever, bronze, silver, gold. If you do this in X amount of time, you get this and that. Like I'll just do it, and whenever I get, and I'll kind of keep it pushing. That's kind of how I did all the hunting grounds. So if I didn't do it in record time to get like a blazing 3 blazing suns, I just kept it moving, bro. I didn't really care. But yeah. Oh, okay. So why did I return to this game? I had the time, and I ended up playing the game again, and I started over, and I was like, bro, I re-fell in love with Aloy. I think Aloy is one of my favorite video game protagonists, in general, to be honest. I don't really have too many video game protagonists I love like that. Like, obviously, there's tons of characters that I like, but if we're talking the central character, no. And what I like about Aloy is every decision that you can make with Aloy is very much within her character, but it's still based on your personality. You can always act with your heart compassionately, even if something is being done to you that is unjust and not fair. You can act violently against those things, or you can kind of find the middle ground, which is what I found myself using more often than none, just because it's you're using your brain, and that's how I am. It's more like if I could embarrass you with my wits before I have to slap the shit out you, I would prefer to do that, and I'm not as forgiving as they come. So that hard shit, it's not for me, bro. It's not for me. Like I'm trying to cause a little bit of chaos. But Aloy, from the time that you're with her as a young kid, when she just doesn't understand, because she was born an outcast because of the thing with Rost and him becoming a death stalker, death something. What did Teresa say again? One of the matriarchs. But like, so Aloy was like, yeah, like I'm just doing what the kids are doing, and she could never understand why they wouldn't play with her, talk to her, and ostracize her. And I felt that frustration bled into me as the player, where I became super standoffish. Like, fuck these niggas, bro. Like, I don't fuck with them. They didn't fuck with me. I don't mess with them. And one of the moments that is super indicative of this, which is one of the first times you get to use like the game's like morality system, if you will, is when the boy throws the rock at you when you're bleeding, and you can choose to just, I guess, not throw it at him, or throw the rock at the rock in his hand, which I chose, and it was dope. I know if you, I don't know what the heart choice for that one is, but I know if you throw it, I think Ross will stop you. And Aloy's relationship with Ross, I guess spoilers, I don't know, before and after he dies is really, really interesting, because they have a dynamic that I haven't really seen before. Because Ross cares about her and her well-being. He does. But his way and methodology of doing so is so frustrating, because he's so ingrained into the culture of the Nora, which has done nothing for Aloy but make her feel alone. She does not have and share the same beliefs as this tribe. And it's so infuriating to sometimes to see Ross just be like, say what he says, and so like, it's so almost like how Jedis would dismiss how frustrated Anakin was. Anakin had a regular childhood. You didn't get to brainwash him into your Jedi ways from the time he was a youngling. He actually grew up with compassion and caring for his mother and people of the sort. So it's like, I don't know, it was frustrating, but I think it gives you a deeper connection to Aloy, and I just love her from start to finish. And we'll talk about her a bit more with Silence and things of that nature and whatnot. But I want to talk about some other things that were really dope. So the graphics real quick, because I don't have like a PS4 Pro or like is it HDRs or anything like that, so I couldn't super duper maximize it, but I have seen what it does look like on that, and it's beautiful. I have my 1080p and my regular PS4, and I think the game is gorgeous. I think seeing the world is beautiful. I like the kind of color filter it has. I love going to new areas. I think the frozen wilds with the Banuk is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. I love the frozen wilds. I love the blue gleam and how it glows, and seeing the demonic machines with their purple aura and whatnot. Like, it was truly something to behold. Like, I think this world itself is beautiful. The lore of it's beautiful. Like, what happens in Horizon Zero Dawn, I guess you can kind of jump into the narrative and the world itself. I think it's such a fantastic world. So basically, humanity, this is a post-apocalyptic world, I guess, but the world had technically ended. I don't want to. I'm guessing most of y'all played this, so I don't have to go through everything. But basically, humanity was making extreme strides in technological advancement and artificial intelligence. And Faro, I don't remember the guy's name. I know Dr. Sobek. Damn, I can't remember. I'm thinking it was Faro. I think Faro was his name. Faro Robotics. He basically had created this kind of autonomous peacekeeping machines and whatnot. And long story short, they became self-aware in a sense, and he had no control over them, and he had given them functions that would quite literally put humanity and the entire planet at extreme risk because of the way it's biofuel or biomass, so it can convert living animals, people, and I guess plants and things like that into fuel for itself, so it can keep running. And basically it became its own self-replicating, self-making scourge upon the earth, and it was about to wipe out humanity. Dr. Elizabeth Sobek basically created a project that would ensure humanity's future, but humanity would die. There was no stopping what these robots would do. Whatever they created was going to create a kind of EMP type code breaking thing to de-arm all the machines. So when the new world kind of starts, these machines are pretty docile until something happens, the explosion. And let's talk about Gaia. Gaia was basically the ultimate artificial intelligence created by Elizabeth Sobeck and her team and whatnot to re-terraform Earth, recreate life, and give humanity a future, and holding our history and knowledge to pass on to these humans. And what I find truly beautiful about this, if you would allow me to speak about this for a moment, I know a lot of you guys probably don't care, but I thought the selflessness of being like, there's nothing we can do, but we can give people of the future something to hold on to, was an act of selflessness that I thought was truly beautiful, that we can apply to what's happening today in our world, specifically in America. But don't get it twisted. Racial injustice and oppression and things of that nature are happening all around the world to all types of minority people. But what I found beautiful in this is really the selfless act to be like, there's nothing we can do for us, but we can do for them, for the next generation, for the people who go on after us, our children's, our nieces and nephews. Like, that level of not being all about me is something I think we need today. I'll leave it at that. So Gaia has all of these functions and programs that are all named after Greek mythology, Hephaestus, Hades, yada yada yada, that have specific functions. One's supposed to fix the ozone. One's supposed to Poseidon's supposed to clean the waters, oceans after the toxicity of what the robots were gonna do to it and things like that. Hephaestus did this. Hades had a fail-safe program protocol with Hades that if Gaia kind of messed up the terraforming and remaking of humanity, it had a failsafe to re-extinct. That's not a real word, but to cause another max extinction, so Gaia could try again. Something had happened where all of these individual programs got loose. Gaia had to explode to try to stop Hades. Hades still got away, and now Hades is the artificial intelligence hell-bent on filling out its one and only program. The destruction of humanity, extinction, doing what it does. But what was super awesome is that if you play the DLC, in the Frozen Wilds, Hephaestus is actually the program that controls the machine's functions, and part of the reason why they became hostile was because humans kept hunting them for parts. And if you think about the programming that Gaia is doing in its attempt to recreate the earth, fix the air and the water, humans destroying these robots, so the Snapmaw and the Glinthawks and whatever, they had specific purposes. They're here to fix the earth. The grazers are here to enriching the soil, and with humanity doing that, they're fucking it up. So what Hephaestus did was make them more hostile, and they started attacking people because you're basically not allowing it to do its main function, and it's hard to get mad at it in artificial intelligence that's just doing what it's programmed to do. And I understand that level of sci-fi-ness is probably a lot for some people. I could imagine somebody kind of getting to this part of the game and the twist and being like, really? You just created some Skynet super artificial intelligent thing that can just fix the earth and terraform and blah 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 and this and that. And it seems a bit much. And if you feel that way, I think you're warranted. I think you could feel that way. The reason I don't is because I read a lot of comic books, and this level of technology and technological marvel and wonder is just something I like. I've seen things happening, and it's like, haha, I'm actually Nick Fury, just pull off this fucking digital mask that was hologramming my it's just something that you get used to. So I actually loved it. I thought it was great, and I thought the lessons that you learn from this world and this game, the lesson you take, the big picture takeaway about selflessness and being able to put aside your differences for a greater good, for a greater cause, and fighting a common enemy. I thought it was dope, and I think it aligns with some things that are happening right now today. I love the Frozen Wilds DLC. The I really can't remember the guy's name, but it was him and his sister who was like a shaman. Their Aratak, their relationship, that was interesting. Seeing how the Banuk were, because the Banuk were kind of elusive in the original game because they just live in snow and ice and they're kind of cool with machines. You've seen the Karja, the Nora, the Asaram. I feel like I got the Shadow Karja. You see how all of these different nations thrive and whatnot, and it's dope. And the cool thing about it too is if we because of what happened, because of what Pharaoh did too, he basically didn't want to give people the poison of knowledge, and this is why even though humanity's back, they're living very weird. They're living tribal, like old back in the day. They got like skin fur on them, like they're in these tribes and whatnot. Well, at least in Nora, like the Karja and Oseram, they meddle with stuff, but they still have a lot of this fantastic technology and a lot of stuff that they can't even comprehend, like the focus, the little earpiece that you use. The Aloy uses to analyze and scan the world around her. It's a communication device. It can jam stuff, things, all manners of things. And it's just a blend of the old world with the old ones and the metal world with this whole new humanity kind of restarting. That blend of, we have all this technological marvel that's here that you guys just don't understand because of what happened to, I can't remember which of the programs of Gaia was tasked with giving the knowledge of humanity's history and technology and uses and what happened, but I know Thing destroyed it. But ultimately, I think this game is great. I know we're getting the comic book. That could be coming out soon. I gotta remember. And we're hearing that they have plans for a sequel, so that's super exciting. I think there's a lot more with this world to explore, a lot more wonders to find, because like, where are we? Like, this is just one part of the world. Like, what's happening all the way across the globe somewhere else, like in Japan or something? Like, did they, like, what, like, there's so much we can do. And what's how the game ends with Silence trapping Hades into like that little lantern thing he has. And we gotta talk about Silence, because I think Silence is probably my second or tied for first favorite character in the game. There's a lot of cool characters, by the way. There was what's my dude whose sister got bodied, and he was working with the Karja. Even the Karja had the red raids and whatnot. I can't remember his name for some reason, but he was cool. I thought Teresa was cool. One of the only matriarchs that actually paid you any mind and gave you any respect. I like her. She's awesome. I like Silence a lot. I thought Ross is interesting, but Ross is frustrating. But Silence is just like an arbiter of knowledge. He's just all about learning knowledge and not being ignorant and stupid. He's black, by the way, so it helps. I like it at that. But like, he's just like, what does your sentiment have to do with anything here right now? And he's like the antithesis to what the game is about, because he's all about selfishness, furthering his own goals, doing whatever he wants just for the knowledge that he is trying to attain. And I find that Aloy finds that middle ground, especially with the more she knows, the more responsible she feels she kind of needs to be with that level of technology and know-how, because people in this world don't understand how to use focuses and things like that the same way that she and Silence can. So it's just I just think this game is great. I love it. Sobek was a great character. I think this game's like a 9 out of 10. And I don't know, man. It's just, I think most people would enjoy this game if they are gamers and like these type of like kind of super awesome single player experience. And I do suggest it. I do recommend it. I think you would enjoy it. I don't think I have anything else to say. I'm probably forgetting a bunch of stuff, like, who knows? But I think we're like 24 minutes in, and I'm ready to wrap it up. But Horizon Zero Dawn, fantastic. I hope you get another one for the PS5 or whatever. And I hope you guys are staying safe. Please take care of yourselves and each other. And see you guys down the road. You're